welcome back to another video. After Trossard saved what would be a disastrous Game Week 6, in this video, I'm going through my Game Week 7 team selection and I've decided to go for a differential captain this week. So before we begin, if you find this video useful, be sure to give it a like, and if you're new here, do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Before we get to my Game Week 7 team selection, let's go through a quick recap of how Game Week 6 went. After a season high 90 points in Game Week 5, it all went flat in Game Week 6 with just 41 points, and which caused a drop to 2.7 million in the overall rankings. I'm relieved that it didn't drop more than a million. It started with a disappointing start to the game week with Liverpool's game against Everton. Even though Liverpool managed to keep a clean sheet and end their run of conceding first in their last 8 games, Klopp somehow decided to rotate his fullbacks, taking Alexander-Arnold off in the 58th minute and Robertson coming on as a sub. And that cost Trent 5 points. Neco Williams provided an assist against Bournemouth, but a poor Nottingham Forest defence cost 3 goals, while Manchester City was somewhat unlucky to have conceded against Villa with a superb Bailey strike. Salah was my captain for the game week and disappointed. He almost claimed a goal right in the dying seconds, but he was unlucky to hit the post with Pickford beaten for the first time in the game. Gabriel Martinelli had an early goal ruled out by VAR against Manchester United, while Trossard was the one who saved my game week with a big 12 points, a goal, an assist and 2 bonus points against a poor Leicester side. And up front, Haaland scored yet again as Haaland overtakes Jesus to be the most selected player in FPL. Only Pep can stop the Haaland goal machine. Now let's take a look at my Game Week 7 team selection. Ederson remains in goal, while the back four consists of Alexander-Arnold, James, Cancelo and Robertson. Hopefully Trent and Robertson are not being rotated yet again, but considering that Wolves have trouble finding the net themselves, hopefully the risk to have both Trent and Robertson can pay off for this game. It's a tough call to stick with the Liverpool duo, considering how poor Liverpool has been in midweek against Napoli. But the plan will still remains to get rid of Robertson next game week. Chelsea has been poor in defence lately, and with news that Thomas Tuchel was sacked and the likelihood of Graham Potter coming in, it remains to be seen he will still implement the same 3-5-2 formation that he uses at Brighton. But I still expect James to remain the crucial attacking outlet on the right. Cancelo and Ederson face a tough fixture against Spurs, but with Manchester City having an extra 24 hours rest than Spurs against their Champions League match, that could play a factor in the second half as fatigue starts to step in. In midfield is Salah, Martinelli, Andreas and Trossard. Salah was my initial pick to be captain, but at this point, after watching Liverpool's Napoli game, it hasn't been good at all and Salah's performance was extremely poor. But so far in the league, I feel that his performances have been over-criticised. He's still joined 4th as a midfielder for total points this season, but costing 13 million is a lot of value that can be unlocked to build the rest of your team. Martinelli had a decent game against Manchester United and was unlucky to have a goal ruled out by VAR, but there's no question that Martinelli has been a value buy of the season so far, and against Everton, looks to be a good fixture to add to his tally. Meanwhile, Trossard faced Bournemouth next, and with Bournemouth has the worst defence in the league so far, who have already conceded 18 goals in 6 games, this looks like a good game for Trossard to add to his tally as well. Andreas completes the midfield lineup. It was a close call between starting him or Neco Williams yet again, but with Chelsea's defending hasn't been the best this season, and their recent team performances have been out of sorts, so I'm going with Andreas, and with Fulham with home advantage, remember what they did to Liverpool, and so hopefully he'll be able to supply some assists for Mitrovic. Up front, it remains Gabriel Jesus and Erling Haaland. As it stands, Jesus takes the captaincy armband, while I expect the majority will go for Haaland yet again. But Spurs will be a tough opposition, and Spurs are indeed the joint second best defence in the league so far, with Brighton conceding only 5 goals. But with news yesterday that Everton's first choice goalkeeper Jordan Pickford will be out for a few weeks, I think it's worth the risk to go for a differential captain so Jesus is likely who I'm going for. Salah was my original captain choice with Haaland as vice captain. But it's interesting to note that so far, Wolves are currently the league's best defense, having conceded only 4 goals in 6 games so far in the league. And Salah's form hasn't been close to the heights of last season, so I think Jesus could be worth the risk, and that differential captain's pick could help improve on the overall rankings. And with this team selection, it also means that I'm rolling my transfers to next week instead. Having 2 transfers next week will give me more flexibility in making team changes in different positions. So we'll see how it goes. Brighton versus Crystal Palace next week is off, so that may change my team plans as well to bring in Zaha. So we'll see what happens next week. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments how your game week went and who you plan to captain for Game Week 7. And if you've enjoyed the content so far, don't forget to click on the subscribe button to support this channel. I hope you have a better game week, and I'll see you on the next video.